Hello, my name is Beto. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be discussing um, some of the complaints that I hear from parents stating that their children give them attitude, that they scream at them, they either take a long time to do a chore or will not do a chore. So we're going to be discussing those points today. Um, if a child has to do something or starts to scream, get angry, whatever, it's important to let the child know that they need to cool off before you listen to what they have to say. Not only the child but also the parent. Nobody does well if they're screaming at each other or if the person is screaming at you, wanting something or refusing to do something. Ask them to stop, cool down, and maybe you yourself have to cool down at times. And as soon as we cool down, let's talk about what's going on. That would help the child at least feeling that, you know, I'm going to be listening to what I have to say, but I have to know that I have to stay calm and not scream. Otherwise, that ends the conversation. So give the child or yourself time to cool down and then talk about it. Listen to what they have to say and do praise them when they cool down. Say, hey, Mike, you were kind of, upset. I'm glad you calmed down. Let's talk. What's going on? Um, and maybe they have a good point or not. It depends, right? I mean, maybe they're angry for a reason, and so you kind of discuss what's going on. And sometimes you might have to change. Let's say you give them a task and they feel it's unfair, unjust. Well, you might have to change. Sometimes you don't have to. They have to accept the fact that some things have to be done. So, but important thing is to listen in a calm way and for them to stay calm to talk to you. That's going to be important because, as they grow older, there's going to be some heavy issues that are important for them to be discussed to you. And they know they can go up to you and talk to you calmly, that you listen and maybe agree with them or not agree with them, but at least the important thing is you listen to what they have to say. Um, Sometimes a child is asked to do a chore and they feel, or a task, and they feel it's unfair. Well, listen to what they have to say about it. Maybe they feel the task is too hard or complicated. You might have to say to them, okay, well, let's do this instead, or let's do something else. But important to realize is that, again, has to be stated in a very calm way without screaming. So let's say you ask a child to do something like make up your bed. Well, that's specific. They know what to do. But sometimes we'll tell children, go clean your room. Well, what's that mean, clean your room? Does it mean to make up the bed? Does it mean what? So it's important to say specifically what you want them to do. I want you to go to your room, pick up your dirty clothes, put in a hamper, make up your bed, pick up all the trash that you dropped on the floor, sweep, put it on the trash can. So that's very specific. Now, sometimes giving children a multiple task at once is hard for them. Of course, it depends on the developmental age. Some children, you might say to them, for example, Mary, go to your room and pick up your dirty clothes and put in the hamper. Okay. So they come back to you and say, okay, now you finished that. Now what you need to do is go to your room and make the bed. So then they come back. Okay, now what you need to do is I want you to get a broom and sweep your room. See, they little steps at a time for children. Because for some children it's hard. Even for adults it's hard when you give them a bunch of tasks. Another thing also is that we want to praise them when they do the task they're asked to do. Again, if it's unfair and the show feels unfair and they give you a good reason for it, it's okay to change the task or change your mind. Oh, you know what, you're right. Another thing that really frustrates kids is when they're asked to do something without giving them time. For example, a heads up. If you go up to a child and say to them, "Time to eat," whether they're watching the TV or reading a book or doing a puzzle, well, that's kind of frustrating because they're into this activity, sometimes they're asked to be pulled out. So sometimes it's best to give a heads up. Mike, in 20 minutes we're going to have supper, so be ready. This way it gives a child a chance to think things out, what they're going to plan, what they're going to do, and maybe give them a chance to organize so that they can either complete a task they're doing or maybe set it up so they can come back to it. Same thing happens to us as adults. As adults, if you're watching a favorite program on TV, a sporting event, or you're reading a book or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're asked, let's go, we're going to a store. You go, what? What? And you want to be able to be given a hands up. So somebody says to you, we need to go to a store, how about in about 20 minutes or half an hour or whatever. Then it gives you a chance to think about, what you're going to do to get yourself ready to go to a store or whatever task you've been asked to do. So important when a child's listening to you is to be non-judgmental, to praise them for staying cool, and to be ready to change. And once a child realizes, again, that you're going to listen to what they have to say as long as they stay calm and not screaming, then when things do come up later on in life, they're going to be more willing to come up to you and tell you what's going on. Okay, so it's important because things occur along a child's development where there's some things that are very important for them to be discussing with you. Okay, thank you for tuning in and give this a heads up.